You're watching Good News South Riding with
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Good News South Riding season finale. That's right, everybody. Season finale. And you know we're about to go all out. This marks episode 11. That is 11 weeks throughout the summer that we've been able to spread good news together and make this world a better place. That's just phenomenal, my people. I want to thank you for your incredible support, and I want to thank everybody who's been on this show and has helped make it successful and helped spread good news. Because really, that's what it's all about, my people. That is what it's all about, spreading the good news. We've had new intro song after new intro song, new celebration after new celebration. We've had Jeff Morse, Lex Beyer, Dr. Fulton. Really, it's been one heck of an eventful summer, and I'm super excited to finish it off with you guys together one last time. So, let me say this one last time. Let's get to today's top stories. Last year, for the Freedom Charity Prom, instead of fundraising for St. Jude's like had been done in years past, the Freedom community decided to go a different direction with the fundraising this year, focusing on more local charities, such as Ellie's Hats, the Dulles South Food Pantry, and Mobile Hope. Now, the prom was unable to happen this year, which is unfortunate, but these charities have still been hard at work all summer long in order to support the community and make it the best it can possibly be. We thought we would give you guys one final update of the impact these charities have had on our community throughout the summer. Let's take a look. During the summer, Ellie's Hats reached a huge milestone, reaching over $105,000 in total donations. That's an insane amount. And all of this money goes towards supporting families in the Northern Virginia area, as every month Ellie's Hats gives $1,000 to 5 families who need their support. Additionally, the Dulles South Food Pantry has also been doing a lot, as throughout the months of June and July, in total, they were able to support nearly 2,000 community members, distributing nearly 90,000 pounds of food. Not to mention, the community has done a fantastic job supporting the Dulles South Food Pantry, whether it be through local kids starting a food drive, the Kona Ice Truck, a dog grooming drive-thru, or local neighbors growing food in their yards to later be donated. The community has thrown their full support behind the Dulles South Food Pantry, and I, for one, love that. Finally, Mobile Hope, through their Listen for the Honk program, a program where volunteers travel via bus to distribute food to families, they have been able to serve 70,000 families in the Northern Virginia area, distributing nearly 40,000 bags of food. Throughout this summer, these charities have worked tirelessly to make sure that the community and the world is a better place, trying to make sure that we're all happy, healthy, and safe. It's really, really, really special that we get to have such fantastic charities right near us. So, I'm going to ask a favor, all right? Try to find a way that you can give back and make the world a better place. That can be through donations, it can be volunteering, it could just be through hearing about these charities' different causes. Find something and make the world a better place, because I know you can do it, and you know you can do it. So let's make it happen, all right? Now, on to our next story with Katie Ramboyong.
Teachers, as we all know, are one of the most important members of the Freedom community. Teachers inspire us, they connect with us, and they make Freedom a fun place to go learn. Now, it may seem like this year it would be harder to stay connected to teachers, but in order to solve this problem, Freedom teachers have actually created Instagram accounts that are meant to maintain their connections with their students. These accounts are great because many teachers post inspiring messages, update students on what's going on in their lives, or just check in with different students to see how they're doing. Miss Yim is a great example of this. She's a science teacher at Freedom who said, quote, "I love posting on my Instagram because it lets me show the different strategies I'm using to get through this time. I want to be able to support my students and be a source of strength. I'm excited to continue posting content this year and hopefully bring some laughter." I think this is amazing what teachers have been doing with Instagram. It's not new, but it's great that our Freedom teachers are starting to adapt to this new way to connect with their students. My mom herself is a teacher, and I would love to see her posts on the gram. I think that it's wonderful that students are able to connect with their teachers through this positive outlet, and it's so exciting, and I can't wait to see more of what they're doing. Back to you, Jake.
Thank you, Katie. You always bring the good news, and I always appreciate your enthusiasm and your effort. Alrighty. Hey, speaking of teachers, why don't we move on to the Teacher of the Week segment, shall we? Yeah, let's do it. Alright, everybody, welcome Miss Speirs.
Hey, Jake. So it's Miss Speirs here. I'm an English teacher at Freedom if you don't know me. So you asked me what's something that I picked up this summer or kind of did during quarantine, and that was baking bread. For this recipe, what you're going to need is about 5 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour. You're going to need 2 1/2 cups of water. You're going to need 1/2 teaspoon of yeast, and then 2 1/2 teaspoons of honey, and 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. And then the most important ingredient in all Italian cooking is, of course, your olive oil. So to start the dough, you're going to need 1/4 cup. So I went ahead and combined my flour, my salt, and my yeast all in here. And then in a separate little bowl, I have my water and my honey. So I just basically did a quick stir to combine there. And then I'm just going to add the water. I kind of get the dough kind of started. It's going to look kind of gross at first. And then once you've started to get some consistency in the dough, that's when I add in the olive oil. Just as long as everything's really well mixed in there, and you'll be able to kind of tell that, then you're pretty much good to go. And I even kind of get my hands dirty, so obviously make sure that your hands are clean. But I just kind of get in there and mix it all up, but that's just because it makes me feel more of a professional, you know. The dough should be pretty sticky. So if that's the way that it's going for you, then you are definitely doing it right. Then we're just gonna put it in a kind of warm-ish spot. So like just anywhere in your house that will leave it kind of undisturbed, because what's gonna happen is there's gonna be a lot of air pockets that develop, which is awesome. But you don't wanna disturb those as it's proofing. So just pick a spot in your house that's kind of dark and warm. But your dough should look something like that. Just gonna pop this hat on there. I'm gonna seal it in. You can use saran wrap or plastic wrap or anything that'll kind of seal it in basically. And then I just let it sit. So we'll come back and visit that tomorrow morning. So it's the next morning. Your dough should have fully risen by now. And basically what we're gonna do now is take our olive oil and we're just gonna spray it, or spread it, pardon me, on like a big baking sheet. And then I just kind of move around a little bit to put it around there. Don't worry, it's just really to help not just the dough not stick, but also can be kind of incorporated into the dough. So yeah, so now what you're gonna do is just kind of like flop it on. I know that sounds kind of gross, but it's true. So now you have this massive clump on your baking sheet and you're like, okay, now what? So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna stretch the dough. And this is the kind of second of 3 proofs. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your fingers with clean hands and you're gonna scoop kind of under the dough and pull it gently towards you. So you're just gonna do that, stretch it out as much as you can, and you're gonna leave it, once you get it to the outer edges, the best you can, you're gonna leave it for 30 minutes. But halfway through, so 15 minutes in, you're gonna come back and try and stretch it a little bit more. While we're waiting on that to do its second proof, I just thought I would do a really tiny little moment here about what it's been like to be back at work. This summer when I was learning to bake this bread, my problem was whenever I bake stuff, I get really caught up in it looking perfect, right? So like I see the tasty video and I'm like, those cupcakes look amazing and look at that decoration, and then I would try it and it would look not even like 2% like the video was supposed to, and I get really frustrated and I dump it in the garbage and be mad that it didn't turn out perfectly. So then I learned about a term in baking called forgiving recipes. And that's basically like if you accidentally tear the dough, or if you add a tiny bit too much yeast, or if your salt ratio is not perfect, don't worry, it's still going to taste good and it's still going to work out. So that concept of having like forgiveness kind of baked into the practice is something that I think is going to be super vital when we go into the fall, because none of us have done this really. You know, the spring wasn't really a trial run. So just having that kind of forgiveness and patience going in, I think is going to be one of the strongest tools in our toolbox, I guess, if you want to think of it that way. But just have that patience going in on, especially in the first couple days. Like, there's going to be meets that don't work, or there's going to be documents that don't load, or sharing settings that aren't set right, or Schoolology things that don't load properly, and that's okay, because we're going to come in with a little bit of extra patience. Hopefully for you guys, having patience with the teachers, and the teachers, because we now know what it's like to be so bombarded, we should have patience for you as well. All right, so now that you've let that proof for 30 minutes, go ahead and take your olive oil again, and just go ahead and pour like 2-ish tablespoons. Again, it can be rough. Just over the top of the bread, and then, or the dough, I guess, and then just kind of move it around a little bit. Yeah, your fingers are gonna get a little oily, so I apologize if that's not your scene. Then in like a bowl, you need a 1/3 cup of water, and I use that kosher salt, so it's a tablespoon, or a teaspoon, teaspoon and a half of salt, and if you're just using regular table salt, it's about half a teaspoon. And that's going to be the brine that we pour on top as well. So lots of liquidy parts that kind of help. I also wanted to cite my source. Being an English teacher, can't believe it took me so long to remember. I got this recipe from Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, and so like that's a show on Netflix if you've seen it. So yeah, once you put the brine on top, we're going to let it sit for another 45, and then we are ready to bake. So you are going to bake this bread at 450 degrees. Also, because you have a lot of liquid on the tray, especially depending on how deep your baking sheet goes, I line my oven with like aluminum foil so that it'll catch everything, because it will kind of leave residue in your oven if the brine or the oil spills over. So it just really helps you with the cleaning process, and also that way your mother doesn't get mad like my mother did in June when I made this for my family. All right, so now that we've done the 45-minute proof, we're gonna finish it off with, you kind of use any salt, really. I'm gonna use the Himalayan pink salt because I'm feeling fancy, but really just any salt, flaky salt. And you're just gonna kind of grind a little bit over the dough. It's not an exact science, but you know, just a few quick turns or sprinkles or however you're doing it. Obviously you don't want to cake it in there, but it just gives it that little extra flavor. And then we're gonna pop it in the oven for between 25 and 30 minutes. It should be nice and brown on top. And then we'll see what happens. All right, so once it comes out the oven, you can just, like I just spread with one of these little brushes, a little bit more oil on top to let it really soak in. But if it looks something like this, then you did it right. And yeah, there you go. Should hopefully be easy, but now you have your own focaccia.
Thank you, Ms. Speirs. You really cooked up a good segment right there. I really appreciate it, all right? Now, moving on to our final story with the man himself, Chaz Chappell. Take it away, my dude.
Thank you, Jake. Now, it's no secret that for the foreseeable future, Loudon has opted for virtual learning over in-person instruction. However, this has not deterred several South Riding community members from creating their own learning environment. That's right, many people have invested lots of time and effort into creating these awesome setups for their kids to have an environment that allows them to focus. Some people went as far as creating full classrooms to their homes. And it's not just students who are getting these cool setups, but teachers are joining in on the fun by creating their own setups for the school year. Miss Widener, a 3rd grade teacher at Liberty Elementary who decorated her own classroom setup, said, "I knew in order to make this year as successful as possible, I needed a space at home that mirrored the feel of my cozy classroom at school. I thought about what kind of backgrounds or props I could have to make my students excited to log in each and every day. All in all, this is a super cool way that teachers and students alike are staying connected." Back to you, Jake.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is not our show for today. You thought that was it? Come on. It's the finale. We're going all out. We are going all out, okay? So, all of the GNSR cast members have recorded a final clip of themselves, all right? They could be expressing gratitude, giving you some positive advice, or just talking about some reflections. But either way, it's their final goodbye message for GNSR Summer Edition, okay? So please, sit back, enjoy, and without further ado, I present to you the final GNSR compilation.
So GNSR is coming to an end, and if I have to leave you with one final piece of positive advice, it's this. No matter how bad things seem to get, just remember, good news can be found wherever you go, and all you have to do is keep looking.
The more you're grateful for good things in your life, the more of those good things will start to show up. Write down a gratitude every day, tell a friend, or even just make a mental note so you can start manifesting all those positive things and start seeing more.
Hey everyone, my piece of positive advice for this time is to just take some time for yourself if you ever need it. If you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, it can be really nice to just relax and take a step back from everything. Bye guys.
Hi everyone, I just wanted to thank you for tuning in over these past couple months, and I hope you have a safe rest of the year. Bye.
Hey everybody, I hope you've all enjoyed the show this summer. It's been a lot of fun, but going into the fall, I have some advice for all of you. Just embrace this new way of learning. I know it's going to be totally different. None of us, I don't think anyone has gone through a global pandemic, but just embrace this new way of learning this fall and all these different obstacles. Be creative, be you, and just embrace the unknown.
What I think we've seen is that COVID has brought us closer together and made us a stronger community. And I really want to thank the people who work at this show for highlighting that.
They say if you ain't first, you're last, and GNSR is first in good news. I'd like to thank everyone at the show for allowing me to be a part of such a great experience, and to my brother Jake, who made this whole thing possible. Thank you.
Good News South Riding really set the bar for a great news show. It was enjoyable, fun, inspiring, and really was a good way to spice up your day. So what are you waiting for? Go make change.
Now it's my turn. I would like to give you a brief description as to why we started this show. You see, it felt like any time you turned on the TV to watch the morning news, you were guaranteed a bad day. Because the news was consistently negative, covering all of the bad stuff that's going on right now. And I get it, it's news, they're trying to get people to watch. But that's not the kind of news that I want to see. I want to see the good that's happening. I want to see the positive. I want to see what the hard workers in this world are doing to make the world a better place. And that's been the beauty of this show. Because there are so many people out there that are just trying to do the right thing every day. That are trying to make the world a better place. That are trying to be a better person. That are trying to make sure that you have the best day imaginable. And that's what this show's really all about. We want to show you the good news. And we want to inspire you to be the best you that you can be. Before I finish out, I would like to say two big thank yous. One, big thank you to you, the viewer, for keeping GNSR positive, for lifting up with life, for allowing us to have this opportunity to give the good news to share. Thank you for being open to listening to what we have to say. And second thank you to the GNSR crew. Half of that being the cast that has supported this show, the cast that's worked tirelessly to make sure that we have all this good news to share. And the other half being my mom. Now you may be wondering, Jake, why your mom? Well, first off, it's never a bad thing to thank your mom for anything. I mean, you should pretty much be thanking your mom 24/7. But also, my mom is the big reason that this show exists. She's kind of what I like to call my momager, mom-manager. She worked hard to find all the stories, help me get Teacher of the Weeks every week, think about concepts and ideas for the show. She's really been one of the masterminds behind this show, and I can't say how much I appreciate her help and having her in my life to help make something this special to me and to the community. So Mom, Amy Beyer, if you're watching this, thank you so much. You mean the world to me. All right, everybody, that is the good news for this summer. And for the last time, keep being awesome. Keep being awesome.